So, you've got a soggy, waterlogged garden, and you're just plain tired of it. I get it. Here's the thing, most people who try to build a drain get it wrong, and it ends up failing in less than a year. Well, today, we're going to show you how to build one that actually lasts.
Yeah, does this scene look a little too familiar? Puddles everywhere you look, a lawn that's more like a swamp, and plants that are just not happy. It's the classic sign of bad drainage. But the good news? There is a permanent fix, and honestly, it's way simpler than you might think.
Okay, let's just cut right to the chase. Over on the left, you've got the common method you see pretty much everywhere online. But here's the secret. It's just wrong. It's almost guaranteed to fail. The method on the right, that's the one that's built to last. Now, the difference looks pretty small, right? But trust me, it is everything. It all comes down to where that fabric liner goes.
So that one little mistake in the common method, just wrapping the pipe instead of the whole trench, it kind of seems logical at first glance. But that is exactly what causes the whole system to fail down the road. Let's break down why that happens.
And here it is, the fatal flaw. When you only wrap the pipe, you leave all that gravel totally exposed to the soil on the sides of the trench. So over time, with rain and everything else, that soil works its way into the gravel. It turns your nice, clean drainage bed into a sludgy mess. The whole system just clogs up, and boom, all your hard work was for nothing.
The right way to do this is a classic technique called a French drain. And its genius isn't some fancy, expensive part. Nope, it's simply about putting the layers in the absolute correct order and using one key material the right way.
And this is the hero of our story, geotextile fabric. The easiest way to think of it is like the world's best bouncer at a club. It's got a super strict water-only policy. It lets all the water pass right on through, but it looks at soil, silt, and all that sediment and says, sorry, you're not on the list. This simple fabric is the absolute key to preventing clogs.
All right, you ready? Let's build this thing the right way. We're going to walk through this step by step so you can build a French drain that will keep your garden nice and dry for years and years to come.
First things first, gravity is your best friend here. Your trench needs a nice, constant, gentle slope. We're talking about a 1 to 2% grade. What does that mean? Simple. For every meter you dig, the trench should drop down by 1 or 2 centimeters. Any less, and the water just sits there. Any more, and it can flow too fast. This gentle slope is the sweet spot. It just lets gravity do all the heavy lifting for you.
Okay, time to get our hands dirty. Step 1 is simple. Dig that trench, and make sure you keep that gentle slope consistent the whole way. Now step 2, and this is the most important part. You're going to line the entire trench, the bottom, the sides, everything, and be generous with it. Leave plenty of extra fabric hanging over the edges. We'll need that later. Then, for step 3, just put down a nice 5 to 10 centimeter bed of gravel right on top of the fabric.
Next up, you're going to lay your drainage pipe right onto that gravel bed. Now here's a pro tip that trips a lot of people up. Make sure the little holes, the perforations, are facing down. I know, it feels backwards, right? But this allows the water to rise up from below and get into the pipe, which works way better. Once the pipe is set, go ahead and cover it completely with more gravel, but stop about 10 to 15 centimeters from the top of the trench.
Okay, so we've laid all the groundwork, but this next step, this is the real game changer. This is the aha moment that separates a drain that fails from one that lasts a lifetime.
And here it is. This is the single most important idea you need to remember. You've got to close the whole thing up like an envelope. That one little concept changes everything.
So what does that envelope look like? Well, remember all that extra fabric we left hanging over the edges back in step 2? Now's the time. You just fold it right over the top of the gravel, completely sealing the whole system inside. You've basically just made a perfect gravel and pipe burrito that's completely protected from any outside soil. Once that's done, you're ready to fill in the rest with your topsoil.
So, let's just do a quick recap of everything because getting this sequence right is what it's all about. Think of this as your final cheat sheet for the perfect, long-lasting drain.
Okay, let's run through it one last time. From the bottom up, you've got your sloped trench, then the fabric liner covering the whole thing, then your first bed of gravel. The pipe goes on top of that, then more gravel to cover the pipe, and then the most important step, fold that fabric over the top to seal the envelope. You finish it off with soil, and you are done. That's the perfect system.
And really, that's the whole magic trick right there. By creating that complete geotextile envelope, You've built a system where water can get in from every direction, but soil and silt are permanently locked out. No clogs. It's simple, it's super effective, and it's built to last.
So, the next time you see a puddle forming in your yard, you're not going to see a problem. You're going to see a project. You now know the right way to do it. You have the power to permanently fix your garden's drainage. So the only real question left is, are you ready to start digging?